All right, when the pony is this slicked back, we know that it's been quite some time since my hair has been washed. So I'll let you guys guess how long it's been since I've washed my hair. Yeah. Anyway, I've been meaning to come on here for like the past few days, ever since I shared more about my idea that I've had recently and this new calling, honestly, that I feel like I've had of starting to teach yoga from a more Christian, faith-based perspective. And I just wanted to share a little bit more on this. I've shared about this before, and if I'm being completely honest, you guys, I got a little bit of backlash the last time I shared about this. And you know what? That is to be expected. I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and I was like, you know what? If you are not receiving backlash for some things that you're doing in your life, then you're not standing out. I think it's a really good sign when you're doing something and not receiving 100% approval. I've learned the hard way in my 25 years of life that if everyone around you is constantly agreeing with you, it's usually because you're manipulating your relationships and manipulating maybe what you're saying to people and maybe manipulating your own opinions. And you know those people that in front of one person they act one way and then in front of another person they act another way. That's kind of sometimes what happens to us is we just want the approval of others so badly that we morph ourselves into different versions of ourselves. And I am not that person, and I'm always going to stand in who I am and what I'm meant to do. And I love that not everyone is for it, because that's a really good sign that I'm really narrowing down the people in this world that I'm here to serve in my very short lifetime that I have here on earth. So anyway, and so I just really want to share how I've gotten here to the place where I'm thinking about these ideas of combining faith, combining Christianity, and combining yoga together, and my story a little bit with yoga over the past few years. And this is not a way to tell you a right or a wrong way of practicing yoga. I am not here to do that, you guys. You have to know what works best for you in your life, whether it's your yoga practice or your diet or your lifestyle habits or whatever it is. You know what is right for you, and I'm not here to do that, right? So please don't take it that I'm trying to do that to you in any way, shape, or form. I'm just sharing my experience with you. So I was introduced to yoga at a very young age. As many of you probably already know, I was introduced to yoga when I was 8 years old. My parents put me in a kids yoga class because I was dealing with really heavy anxiety, and for the first time actually in my life. And so they put me in a kids yoga class, and it was really just a fun class, a fun way to it was really a way for me to get involved with the community and to, for the first time, build confidence in something that was unique and something that was mine and something that I was good at. And I carried that with me over the years. And I did yoga, kids yoga, for years up until I think I was like 13, when you outgrow, being a kid. And yoga came back into my life in a bigger way when I was a freshman in college. I had gone to a class on campus and I was so inspired, and I remembered being like, I need to get back into this. And like I was just called to doing yoga again and doing it consistently and being older and wiser and understanding a little bit more and making it a part of my lifestyle and a part of my routine. And so I started going to so many classes. I went to different studios in the area. Over the years, I went to so many different retreats. I went to so many different yoga festivals and different places and practiced yoga in so many different places. And I'm so grateful for that and having that experience. And through this, I had a huge calling to become a yoga teacher myself. So around my sophomore year of college, I started yoga school, and it was because I wanted to help people. I wanted to help people become impacted by yoga the way that I was impacted through yoga and the ways that I was healed and transformed through yoga. I wanted to give that to other people. And something that I've observed over the years, and then I went on to graduating and I did another yoga teacher training, and then I was a yoga teacher and taught literally thousands and thousands of classes. And what I've gathered over the years of being at so many different studios and being so heavily in the yoga community in so many different ways is I started to realize for myself that I didn't feel like yoga was rooted in something that I personally connected with. And I always felt like there was something interesting happening within the yoga community as a whole, in general. I'm not speaking about one specific place or one specific person. I'm talking in general. What I started seeing is that people, and by the way, I started seeing this in my classes. I started seeing this with me, with myself, is people start worshiping the person in front of the room. And it's real weird. I did not like it. I started noticing it for myself happening. And even reflecting back on the years of teaching, I've seen countless amounts of times where stuff was just shared with me that was just not meant to be shared with me. And people saw me as this god in front of the room. And I was like, this is not comfortable. This is not safe. This is not how I want to operate any part of my life at all. I never want anyone to worship me or look at me as a god that has all the answers, ever. And I just felt so uncomfortable with that. Like there was just a missing piece that started to wedge into my personal yoga practice, my yoga practice, but also my teaching practice. And there's many reasons why I stepped down and away from teaching publicly where I was teaching, but this had to do with it a little bit, and at least it led me into the ideas that I have now, which is starting something for myself that I create and that is rooted not in me, but in God and in faith. And now, with that being said, before I really get into this, there's athletes on here who I teach yoga to at colleges, and I've been to different gyms before and done little pop-ups and stuff. I want you to know that I have a lot of discernment with knowing the time and place of what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. I'm not going to just start spitting scripture in a random class where I'm teaching athletes where I didn't have that agreement with the coach beforehand that I'm going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, I would love to do that if I had a coach that was like, hey, we're a Christian college and I want you to talk a little bit about faith and in the classes, the mobility classes that you're teaching. Sweet, sick. But I'm not I'm not trying to manipulate or be weird here, So what it will look like. Oh, and also too on that note, actually, is I'm also not trying to only teach Christians, you guys. It's not like only Christian yoga's over here. No, that's literally actually the complete opposite of what I'm trying to do. It's more so just having a rootedness in something that is bigger than me as the teacher in front of the room. And, arguably, I've been teaching this way my entire teaching career. I've always kind of spoken from a place of inspiring people through my own life stories, but also through something bigger than me. I just didn't really know what I was talking about. I was just kind of talking about the universe, which if that's what you subscribe to, that's fine. That's just not personally what I connect to. And so what this tangibly will look like is I will maybe start, reading little verses from the Bible and seeing how we can apply this into our daily lives. If you've been to my classes before, more of the studio style classes specifically, again, I teach differently depending on the audience that I'm teaching to. If I'm teaching to athletes, I don't always do an inspirational talk because a lot of times athletes just want to stretch, and that's totally fine. In my more studio classes or weekly classes that I'm going to be putting on, classes that aren't geared towards a specific audience with a specific goal in mind, right? And so, what it'll look like is pulling little things from the Bible, pulling simple quotes and sentences and verses from the Bible. I've kind of already been doing, like I said, over the years is what I do. I pull inspiration from books I've been reading or podcasts or even sermons I started pulling inspiration from and just speaking on it or speaking from my own life experiences. And it's really not going to look that much different. And of course, there's going to be the yoga practice and the movement practice of it. But what I believe that, yoga is, and what I've learned that yoga is unifying your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit. And so this is just another way of unifying with your spirit. And, I know it does kind of raise the question of, well, what if I don't believe in God? What if I know already that I don't believe in God? That's fine. You can read a book that you don't completely subscribe to, or you can listen to a motivational speech from someone who maybe you don't really like or whatever, I don't know, or like their work or whatever, and still gain inspiration from it is the way that I see it personally. And also to you guys, not for anything, there's a lot of stuff that comes from the Bible that we don't even realize comes from the Bible. This too shall pass. Hello. Every single person has that tattooed on their body. And do we know that that comes from the Bible? Or let there be light? Or there's so many more that I probably honestly don't even realize come from the Bible. Actually, it's funny because I am new to my faith, and I am new to being so intentional with my walk with God, that I read through the Bible and I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that that quote came from the Bible. So, it's not really going to be much different from the way that I teach my classes anyway. It'll just be a little bit more God-centered and faith-based. So more details on that coming soon. Please let me know if you have any questions at all. And if you've made it this far, let me know what you think. Genuinely, I want to know. I don't care who you are. I don't know if I don't even know you. Let me know what you think about this. And I am so open to receiving any thoughts and comments as long as they're not aggressively coming after me. Like, please don't feel like there's anything that's going to offend me. I know that we live in a world that is extremely offended, but it's pretty hard to offend your girl over here. And yeah, as long as you're coming from a place of love, I can handle it. And if you don't come from a place of love, you'll probably be blocked. But all right, I hope that you have an amazing day. And I hope that, if you made it this far, I don't know. I literally don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I need to stop talking. Okay.